Welcome to WORLDKNOW channel, a channel we give our audience sound knowledge, information that will help our existence in becoming useful to ourselves, to our society. Today we'll be discussing on a very crucial and important subject, which has to do with raising our children. Raising our children. This is very important because the children we raise are reflections of who we are. You can calculate the value of importance of something you can do, of something you do, by measuring the possible consequences of doing or not doing it. Something that is important is something that has significant potential consequences. Bringing children into the world has consequences that can go on for 80 years, which is the average life expectancy of a person today and beyond, into the lives of your grandchildren and great-grandchildren. This is why becoming a parent is one of the most important things you will ever do. One of the most important things you will ever do as a man, as a woman, as a father, as a mother, is raising up your children. As an adult, you are still affected today by things that your grandparents did or didn't do to or for your parents. We all, at a certain point of our life, certain time of our life, we were raised by our parents and we saw certain characters in which they exhibit, and we tend to allow this character to become part of our own character. Children learn by observation. We learn by observation also from our parents, in seeing what they do, how they talk, how they behave, and all other things in which they do. That is why sometimes in society today, when we see some of our children or certain people, behaving in a direction, we say, he's behaving like his father. He's behaving like the mother. This is because of the impact and because of the influence that their parents influenced on them. The way you treat your children is strongly influenced by the way your parents treated you, to an extent. It has consequences that cascade down the generations, and it has an enormous influence on their lifelong happiness and well-being. Your greatest responsibility is the child or the children that has been given on to you for you to raise. Your greatest responsibility is in the raising of your children to a high level of discipline for them to become useful to themselves and to the society at large. The day your first child is born, you have taken on a minimum 20-year commitment to do everything possible to raise your child as a happy, healthy, and self-confident adult. For the very time he or she is under your custody, you have been given a full responsibility to take good care of that child, knowing what the child deserves, what the child needs at that very period, the vital education, the vital exposure that the child needs. This is very crucial. The first point of education, the first education that a child receives is not the one from the school. It's not the one from his or her teacher in the school. The first point of education, first line of education a child receives is the one from the home. And that is the one given to them by their biological parents. That's for those that have the privilege of being raised by their own biological parents, or those that are also privileged being raised by those that are not their biological parents due to some or one or two circumstances or the other. At every stage of your child's life, your words, your actions, non-actions, and behaviors are shaping and influencing that child and determining how he or she will turn out as an adult. Your children are watching you. They are observing you. They are studying you. And whatever thing they see you doing, they will always want to replicate it. For instance, if you're a mother, you are fond of doing or carrying out one particular kind of action or saying certain kind of words or sentences every time, you will discover that your child, your baby, will always want to behave the way you behaved or do what they see you doing. They are fast learners. You might think they are not watching, you might think they are not observing, you might think they are not taking note, but on the long run, you end up discovering that they are actually, and they have been observing what you have been doing. The greatest need that a child has is for an unbroken flow of unconditional love and acceptance from his or her parents. Children needs love. Children wants to be loved. Children always want love from their parents, from the people that are their guide. How do you love your children? What kind of love do you show to your children? Are you loving? Can they be able to say, my daddy loved me or my mommy loved me? Or you are the one that doesn't love at all? You doesn't show any sign of love for your children? Children need love almost as much as they need oxygen. That's the truth of the matter. They need love almost as much as they need oxygen. The amount of love that a child receives, especially in his or her formative years, is the critical determinant of how healthy and happy he or she becomes as an adult. So we have to show love to our children at all times, every day, every time, every season, every moment. We have to show love to our children. When you become a parent, you must discipline yourself and organize your life so you can spend ample time with your child throughout his or her growing years. This is one area we don't pay attention to as parents. We are so occupied with activities, with work, with a lot of itineraries, and we don't have time set aside to spend with our children. It has a negative effect and impact on them. Create time for your children. Create time for your children. Every little opportunity, every little time you have, spend the time with them. It counts a lot. It counts a lot. Talk to them. If you don't create the atmosphere and the environment to talk to them, they won't be able to ask you questions or to engage in conversations. They might be having something bothering them. They might have had a kind of strange experience that they would want to share with you as a parent. But because you don't create that ample time, they won't be able to ask you. They won't be able to engage in any discussion with you. So you see, distancing and not creating time for your children has a lot of negative effect on them and also on the parents. You must discipline yourself to cut back, to reduce, downsize, and eliminate other activities that prevent you from being an excellent parent. This is a wake-up call for every parent, for every mother, for every father. Train your children in the way that you know that when they become matured tomorrow, you can be proud to say, I did well. I trained my daughter well. I trained my child well. I trained my son well. It is a great responsibility. Although it's not easy at all. It has a lot of hurdles, but inside the hurdles, you find satisfaction, you find joy, you find happiness.